Before we begin tonight's story, I need to warn you, what you're about to hear isn't fiction, at least not completely. The recording came from a long-forgotten email archive belonging to an international research program that once operated in northern Sweden. The file had no sender, no timestamp, just a name in the subject line, the Maya Expedition. Authorities deny the project ever existed, but what was found in that frozen wilderness and what survived to tell the story suggests otherwise. Turn off the lights, put on your headphones. This is NightLore, and tonight you'll hear the Maya Expedition. I wasn't supposed to be there. It was supposed to be a simple field project, a collaboration between Michigan State University and a few Scandinavian research institutes. They called it the Arctic Wellness Cooperative. It sounded fancy, harmless, even kind of boring. But nothing about what happened in Sweden was harmless. It started in May during my final year. I was one of 2 American students chosen for an exchange project to the northern wetlands, the Maya Maras, just above the Arctic Circle. My partner Roger Dawson, everyone called him Raj, was an environmental sciences major. We were told we'd be assisting a Swedish team studying soil toxicity and wildlife migration. We landed in Stockholm, met Helena from the Royal Institute of Technology and Camilla from Luleå University. They were bright, efficient, and calm in that Scandinavian way that makes you feel like you're the messy one. They already had everything planned: roots, food, sampling gear, emergency kits. All we had to do was follow their lead. By the time we reached the outskirts of the wetlands, the world felt empty. The road ended in a grey gravel trail, winding between moss-black pines and fog. Even the air felt heavier there, thick, cold, and ancient. I remember Helena saying, "This is untouched land," and I believed her. The drive north was endless. The world blurred into muted greens and silvers, broken by the occasional red farmhouse that looked abandoned even when it wasn't. Every few hours, one of us would comment, just to hear a voice again. By the time we reached the Maya wetlands, the sun hadn't really set. Up here, the nights were pale and sleepless. We found a half-abandoned village with 6 houses. One had power. That was ours. That night, I fell asleep in a bed that smelled like damp wood and dust. Outside, the wind moaned against the walls like something alive trying to get in. At dawn, Helena was already making sandwiches. Camilla was labeling equipment, arranging soil vials in perfect rows. She was meticulous, the kind of person who could organize chaos. We started walking at 5:30 a.m. The air was freezing, yet my face was slick with sweat within minutes. The terrain was treacherous, ankle-deep mud and patches of ice. We followed small orange flags marking the sample route. Without them, we would have been hopelessly lost. It was oddly quiet out there. No engines, no wind, just the sound of our boots sucking at the ground. Then Helena broke the silence. Anyone know a song? We tried humming something. It didn't help. The wetlands stretched endlessly grey pools of water reflecting a white, sleepless sky. It all looked the same. Every direction looked the same. And yet somehow, it felt like something was watching us. The first site took hours to reach. We collected water, soil, vegetation samples, the usual stuff. But there was something wrong with the place. Camilla mentioned the Sami herders had moved their reindeer north, saying the animals were getting sick from the soil. I remember looking around and realizing there weren't any animals, not a single bird, not even a mosquito. Raj joked, "Guess that's one perk of the Arctic." No one laughed. By late afternoon, we reached the second site. Still no wildlife, no cloudberries. Camilla said they should have been everywhere. Even the moss looked pale drained. That night, we camped off trail beside a shallow pool that mirrored the blood-red sky. I couldn't sleep. The others were breathing softly in their tents, but I couldn't stop staring at the horizon. There should have been buzzing, chirping something. But the world was completely silent. And then I saw it. A shape, maybe 40 meters away. For a long moment, I thought it was a tree. Then I noticed the outline of antlers. It was a reindeer, standing perfectly still in the water, staring in our direction. It didn't move for over half an hour, not even to breathe. I whispered its name. It didn't flinch. When I blinked, it was gone. Morning came grey and dull. I told Camilla what I'd seen. She shrugged. They're curious animals. Maybe it was checking us out, but I could tell she didn't believe that. We were knee-deep in muck when it happened. A sound carried over the wetlands, faint, broken, yet unmistakably human. It was a scream. At first, we froze, thinking it was a person calling for help. Helena shouted back. Raj yelled too, but the sound didn't get closer, just drifted. It was strange, the exact same pitch, same rhythm, over and over, like a recording on loop. After half an hour, it faded completely. Raj's face was pale. That wasn't an echo, he whispered. We said nothing after that. When we finally found the orange flags again, Camilla insisted it must have been a bird, but no one could name which one. And deep down, I think we all knew the truth: birds don't say help. We reached the next site around midday. That's when we saw it. A huge twisted birch tree stood alone in the clearing, its branches heavy with shapes. At first, I thought it was moss or debris. But then, the smell hit. 4 reindeer carcasses hung from the branches, their antlers tangled in the wood, flesh torn and dried hooves, dangling like grotesque ornaments. Their skin was grey, their eyes black pits. Helena dropped her phone. Raj whispered, Jesus Christ. Camilla tried to rationalize it. Sometimes bears store their prey. This isn't hiding, Raj snapped. This is display. We found hoof marks around the trunk, but also something else. Long, thin impressions in the bark, like fingers. That night, we didn't talk much. No one mentioned that the forest had gone silent again. The map said there should have been a lake at Site 4. Instead, there was a crater. Mud stretched for hundreds of meters, cracked and glistening. No water, no fish, nothing. The surface looked like something had sucked the life out of it. Helena took pictures. Camilla checked the GPS twice. It's the right spot, she muttered. It's just gone. The ground trembled faintly beneath us, like something shifting far below. Raj wanted to turn back. Camilla said we were too close to stop now. We followed the flags into the deep mire. Each one felt like a lifeline. Then around 2 p.m., we heard it again. The scream. This time, there were 2, one from the east, one from the west. Both the same tone. Both crying for help. We didn't answer. We camped on a patch of semi-dry moss, the last high ground for miles. The fog rolled in thick and yellow. Around midnight, Raj woke me. He didn't say a word, just motioned for silence. There it was again. The voice, closer now. Help me. Over and over, same pitch, same breath. Camilla grabbed a flashlight. Helena clutched her notebook like it could protect her. We stepped out of the tent. Dozens of reindeer stood in the mist, barely 60 feet away, all facing us. Eyes reflecting the beam, glassy and unblinking. One of them opened its mouth. Help me. It wasn't a sound. It was speech, flat, hollow, human. Then another joined, and another. Soon the entire herd was speaking their mouths, moving in eerie unison, each syllable the same. Raj tried to scare them off, shouted, waved his arms. Nothing. Then the one in front leaned back, its spine cracked like timber, and slowly, impossibly, it stood on two legs. The others followed, circling, swaying. Their voices grew louder. "Help me! Help me! Help me!" Camilla screamed. That was when they charged. I saw hooves flash flesh, tear the sound of bones breaking like dry branches. Camilla went down first. Raj tried to run. They trampled him before he made it 3 steps. I crawled through the mud blind with terror, the air full of screams, human and not. Something struck my ribs, something else my thigh, but I kept crawling. I didn't look back. By dawn, the world was silent again. I woke alone. My leg was bleeding. My chest felt crushed. The dents were gone. The ground was covered in shallow hoof prints, spiraling outward like a ritual circle. I should have kept going. But then I heard her. "Helena?" Her voice faint, broken, screaming. I followed the sound for hours through the fog until I reached a hill overlooking a massive dry lake bed. At its center was a crack in the earth, deep black and wet. Hundreds of reindeer moved below, circling the fissure. Some dragged carcasses, birds, fish, even human remains, dumping them into the opening. Their hides shimmered blue under the sun, as if something moved beneath their skin. Then I saw her, Helena, barely conscious, covered in mud, being dragged toward the hole. She looked up at me for a moment. Our eyes met, and then something reached out. A long, bone-white hand emerged from the darkness, fingers long enough to wrap around her chest. It pulled her in without a sound. The herd went silent. Then softly they began again, but now in her voice. "Help me. Come down. Help me." Their tones twisted and merged until the air vibrated with it, hundreds of voices whispering in perfect rhythm. I stayed hidden until the sun started to set. Every now and then, that pale hand would surface again, placing something back onto the ground. Sometimes it was meat. Sometimes it was moving. I don't remember how long I walked. The world had no sound, no smell, no life. Every few steps, I thought I heard something, following a whisper, a footstep. But when I turned, there was only fog. By nightfall, I was limping badly. My leg throbbed. My ribs felt like glass. I wrapped my wound with a strip from my shirt and kept going. At one point, I heard the voice again, but softer now. "Come help me." I froze. It was Helena's voice. It came from ahead. I almost followed it. Almost. But something in me knew it wasn't her anymore. When I finally collapsed, the sky was bleeding red. I thought that was it, until a gunshot split the air. A reindeer fell beside me, eyes wide, gasping. As it choked, its mouth moved, "Help me." It whispered, and something white shifted behind its teeth, a second pair of eyes staring out from inside its throat. Then another gunshot, and everything went black. When I woke, I was in a caravan surrounded by men in bright vests and hunting gear. They spoke Swedish, then switched to English when they realized I understood. American one asked. I nodded. They told me I'd been found near the Maya border, alone, delirious. When I tried to tell them what happened, they didn't react, just looked at one another quietly. Later that night, I watched them haul the dead reindeer's body to a nearby tree. They tied a rope around its antlers and hoisted it up until it dangled just like the ones we'd seen before. "Why are you doing that?" I asked. The oldest one looked at me. "Keep them out," he said. "They understand warning." He smiled when he saw the fear in my eyes. Sometimes they forget. Sometimes they need reminding. They sent me home the next morning. The embassy called it an animal attack. The Arctic Wellness Cooperative issued a statement of deep regret. No one mentioned Raj Camilla or Helena ever again. I checked the AWC website a few months later. They were still operating in the same area, still collecting soil samples. Sometimes I get emails from hunters up north. They say it's spreading, that the ground itself hums at night now, that the herds have learned new words. I don't know if that's true. All I know is that every time I close my eyes, I still hear her voice. Faint, patient, closer every night. Help me. The official story never changed. 4 researchers lost during an environmental study. Presumed dead, the report said. Animal attack. But local hunters still talk about the Maya wetlands, about the silence that falls over the marsh at night, and the voices that echo through the fog, calling for help in perfect human English. The government closed the area years ago. Still, if you ever find yourself north of the Arctic Circle and you hear someone crying out across the ice, don't answer. Because sometimes the thing asking for help isn't looking to be saved. You've been listening to NightLore. Sleep lightly.